Wave of strikes in West Asia. Israel and Iran rain missiles and drones. Deadly missile strikes, piles of rubble. Iranian nuke hubs, oil wells burning. Iran hits civilian areas in Israel. Holy city Jerusalem under attack. West Asia war rages.
Good evening and welcome to India Today. As the tensions continues to escalate between Israel and Iran as both the countries refuse to step towards peace. Meanwhile, Israeli President Herzog calls on G7 amid destruction at site of missile strike. We bring you some more visuals and some information. Plumes of smoke rose above Tehran after an Israeli strike ignited massive fires at a nearby oil refinery. This footage shows flames visible from a distant railway depot. Mid-air explosions lit up skies over Tel Aviv as Israel intercepted Iranian missile barrages. Sirens wailed as defense systems engaged. On your screens now, videos show intense fires at Tehran's Shahran oil depot after another Israeli strike. Authorities say the situation is now under control. Missiles launched from Iran were seen over Ramallah and Hebron, alarming residents as trails cut across the West Bank night sky. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu conveyed his top security officials a warning that Iran will be bringing in harsher days ahead as missile threats continue. After Iranian missile strikes, Israel's President Isaac Herzog, I beg your pardon, called on G7 leaders to strip Iran of its nuclear and missile capability.
To lead it towards peace by
And in Lebanon, a rooftop party continued even as projectiles streaked across the night sky. One saxophonist played on, undeterred by war and missiles striking overhead. Now, tensions between Iran and Israel are at an all-time high, with both sides launching devastating missile strikes on each other. Key military and energy targets have been hit. Cities are under fire, and the world watches anxiously as the conflict escalates. More in this report.
The war in West Asia is escalating, with Iran and Israel trading relentless waves of military strikes. Israel launched a series of fresh airstrikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure. The targets include Iranian Ministry of Defense headquarters and the headquarters of the SNPT nuclear project in capital Tehran. On Israel's target is Iran's energy infrastructure. Shahran oil depot and South Pars gas facility were in flames after being battered by Israeli missiles. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated that his country will strike Iran as it threatens Israel's integrity.
We've taken out their senior military leadership. We've taken out their senior technologists who are leading the race to build atomic weapons that would threaten us, but not only us. We've done all that and many other things. But we are also aware of the fact that there's more to be done. So we're preparing. We paved the way to Tehran, and our pilots over the skies of Tehran will deal blows to the Ayatollah regime that they cannot even imagine.
In a massive counterstrike, Iran hit several locations across Israel. Air raid sirens blared across Jerusalem and Tel Aviv as missiles struck key locations. At least 3 people were killed in the strikes and over 40 were injured.
This is an area just outside of Tel Aviv that has been absolutely decimated by missiles that have come from Iran early this morning. You can see behind me first responders. They are trying to get the remains of the missile that landed there between 2 buildings. It appears half of these buildings have been destroyed. Buildings have been completely torn off. First responders say there have been fatalities here, but it's unclear right now how many people, and that there have been dozens of people injured. Responders are helping them to leave. This is yet another night of attacks.
Amid the ongoing conflict, Iran stressed that its strikes were in response to Israel's violation.
ما خواهان گسترش جنگ نیستیم مگر اینکه به ما تحمیل بشه. ما خواهان گسترش این جنگ به کشورهای دیگه و یا به منطقه نیستیم مگر اینکه تحمیل بشه. ما اصولا خواهان این جنگ نبودیم. ما مشغول اجرای دیپلماسی در خصوص برنامه هستی خودمون بودیم. ولی این تجاوز به ما تحمیل شد. ما از خودمون دفاع میکنیم. دفاع کاملا مشروع هست. با اقتدار دفاع میکنیم. و این دفاع ما در پاسخ به تجاوز هست. لذا اگر تجاوز متوقف بشه طبیعی است که واکنش‌های ما هم متوقف میشه.
As Iran questioned America's role in helping Israel, President Trump served a chilling warning to Tehran, saying Washington will hit Iran hard if US interests are targeted. With the full-scale conflict underway, there seems to be no ray of hope for an immediate solution. Bureau Report, India Today.
So these 2 nations are at conflict. But let's try and understand how these 2 nations compare to each other in terms of military might, how they stand against each other in comparison. Well, it's quite simple. First, let's try and understand the population, because population is a huge asset for any country. Iran, 88 million people, whereas Israel, we all know, is a small country with just 9 million people. But look at the military budgets. Iran, with its big country, big population and big borders, just has $10 billion allocated for its military budget, whereas Israel has $24 billion, which, mind you, includes the US aid, which is a huge help for Israel because there is tacit support and there is military aid as well. Now let's talk about the active personnel, as in people who are deployed and are part of the military there. So Iran, there as you can see, 610,000 or 610,000 personnel, whereas for Israel, you can see a much lower number. But we all know, in terms of technology, Israel is far and way ahead. Now let's try and look at the reserve personnel. These are people who are part of the military and are called upon when required. Otherwise, they lead normal lives. So these are the reserve personnel. Again, we see here, although Iran seems to have lesser number of people on reserve, while Israel has more. As we all know, Israel has compulsory duty, which you do and then you move on. So Iran does not, seeing that they have a much bigger army, does not require that many reserve people. Now let's talk about the paramilitary forces. Well, forces other than the main army. Iran has a huge number of people working in their paramilitary forces, whereas Israel just has 8,000 people. All these people can be brought in case of emergency and war. Let's look at their equipment. Tanks. Iran, 10,500. Israel, 400 tanks. Artillery guns. Iran, 6,800. Israel, just 530. Armored vehicles. Iran has 640, but Israel has 1,190 armored vehicles. Let's look at naval vessels. Iran has 17 submarines, 68 patrol, and 7 corvettes, whereas Israel has 5 submarines and 49 patrol boats. Now let's talk about what is the range of their ballistic missiles. Iran has 12 types of ballistic missiles. We have seen them use them also, range up to 2,000 kilometers. Well, Tehran from Tehran to Israel is almost 1,000 kilometers. And whereas if we talk about Israel, we do know about the Jericho 3. Its range is 4,800 to 6,500 kilometers. That is a huge distance, a huge range. Nuclear capability, Iran, right now, none. Enrichment program was there, but they do not have any bombs. They have officially declared that. But Israel, undeclared. Estimated to about 80 to 90 warheads. Air defense system, Iran has mixed systems, which are a mix of Russian-made and other systems, whereas Israel, we all know about the famous Iron Dome and the David Sling and Arrow 3, which are part of it, and it is one of the most advanced and multi-layered system we've ever seen. Now let's go across to India today's Ashraf Wani and try and understand this comparison as well, and how strong is Israeli army. Well, Ashraf, do try and explain to us this conflict that we are seeing between Iran and Israel. How do these two nations weigh against each other in terms of conflict, in times of conflict?
Anjali, actually the world knows that Israel has one of the most leading air powers in the world, which is dependent on the America, because most of their fighter jets are American made and provided by America, F-15, F-16, F-35. These warplanes are the main asset, and then with them the bombs of different varieties which are being provided by America. So Israel has not its own arms haul, but it is the American arms and the fighter jets, which Israel has the edge all across the globe, and particularly against the Iran. But during the recent years, Iran has also developed the ballistic missiles, hydrosonic missiles, long-range missiles, and some of them they have tested during the 2 days of conflict between Iran and Israel. Particularly if we talk about the today's early morning, Sunday morning and Saturday late evening missile strikes that have penetrated the Iron Dome system of Israel and has shown the devastating destruction in the many towns and the cities, particularly on the Haifa port city, where the Israel has now confirmed that this oil system and the refinery has got very much damage. And also the Bat Yam, which is one of the districts in the Tel Aviv, there some rockets penetrated, and now the Israel has claimed that almost 7 dead bodies have been recovered from the debris, and some people are still missing there. So it means that the power-wise, where one side the Israel has the air force and on other side the missile power is with the Iran.
Clearly a conflict that the world cannot afford. Thank you very much, Ashraf, for this.